Welcome to another deep dive. This time we're exploring a grade 5 study guide. But don't worry.
It's not just for kids.
Yeah, seriously, we found some really interesting facts in here that I bet you didn't know.
Right. There's something for everyone.
Okay, let's jump in. So, we're going to start with festivals.
All right. Yeah, festivals are a great way to celebrate, like marking events, honoring traditions, bringing people together.
Did you know that some festivals, they actually have their own, unique foods and music and dances?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Think about it. What's your favorite festival? What makes it special? What are those traditions that, really make it stand out?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's amazing how they can be so diverse, yet still share that common theme of community and joy and connection.
Totally. Speaking of diversity, South Africa is a prime example. It's known as the Rainbow Nation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. They've got Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, and African traditional religions.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and get this. The Dutch Reformed Church is the oldest Christian church there.
Wow.
Think about this. Why do you think there's so many different religions in the world? What can we learn from them?
Exploring different perspectives can really broaden our understanding and encourage tolerance and respect.
So true. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We're going to talk about juggling now.
All right.
I'm not very good at it, but it's a fun skill.
Yeah, juggling has been around for centuries.
Really?
Yeah, there's evidence suggesting that it was practiced in ancient Egypt, China, and Greece.
Oh, wow.
Keeping objects in constant motion, usually like balls or beanbags.
Did you know that the word juggling actually comes from this Middle English word, juggling?
What does that mean?
It means to entertain with tricks.
Oh, that's fun.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's all about entertainment and skill. Think about this. What skills do you think you need to be a good juggler?
Well, definitely hand-eye coordination, timing, focus. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah. Maybe even try it at home. You could use scarves or soft toys or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Something safe.
Yeah, it's a great way to challenge yourself and learn a new skill and just have fun.
Absolutely. All right, now let's travel back to Africa. We're going to explore this marriage custom called lobola.
Okay.
So lobola is a tradition where the groom's family gives gifts to the bride's family.
Oh.
Did you know, traditionally, it shows respect for the bride and her family.
Okay.
It's not just about giving material gifts or whatever.
Right.
It's about strengthening that family bond.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What other customs or traditions exist in different cultures for marriage or other big life events? How do those traditions reflect their values and beliefs?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so fascinating to see how diverse customs enrich our world and, give us insights into different ways of life.
Absolutely. Okay, let's groove into the world of music now with this technique called call and response.
Okay, I've heard of that.
So it's basically like a musical conversation.
Right.
One musician plays a phrase and another responds, creating this back and forth.
Yeah.
Did you know that call and response is found in musical traditions all over the world?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from jazz and blues to African and Asian music.
That's amazing.
It's like a universal language.
Wow, that's a testament to the power of music connecting people across cultures.
Yeah, it is. Think about this. How does call and response make music more engaging? Can you think of other examples of call and response in different art forms or even everyday conversation?
Yeah, that's a fascinating thing to explore. It shows the collaborative nature of communication.
Totally. From music, let's go to dance. Balance is super important in dance.
Right.
Especially ballet.
Oh, yeah.
They train so hard.
Yes, they do.
To maintain their balance while doing those intricate steps and poses.
It's incredible.
Did you know ballet dancers often start training very young?
Yeah, very young.
Dedicating years to perfecting their technique.
The dedication and discipline is unreal.
Think about this. Why is balance important? Not just in dance, but in life in general.
Yeah. That's a good question.
How do you maintain your own balance?
Yeah.
Physically and even metaphorically.
It's about finding that equilibrium, that inner and outer harmony.
Now let's talk about safety, especially at home.
Yeah, it's easy to feel safe in your own home, but accidents happen.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy? Most accidents actually happen at home.
Really?
Yeah, it's surprising.
It is.
It shows how important it is to just be aware of those potential hazards.
Right.
And, take steps to prevent them.
Right.
A lot of them are preventable.
That's good.
Yeah, for sure. Think about this. What are some potential safety hazards in your own home? How can you make it safer?
That's something we should all be thinking about.
Yeah. Okay, and let's talk about stuff that might be in your cupboards that can be harmful,
Like what?
like household products or medications.
Oh, yeah.
It's important to be careful with those.
Especially with kids around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially with kids. Did you know that some medications can actually look like candy?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's super dangerous for little ones.
That's so scary.
It is, so you got to keep them out of reach.
Yeah, for sure.
So think about this. What are some of those dangerous products that you have at home? And how can you make sure that they're stored safely and used safely?
Yeah, that's a really important point. Always be proactive.
Absolutely. All right, we were talking about safety. Let's not forget about fire safety.
Yeah.
That's important.
Super important.
Fires can be devastating, but
Luckily, a lot of house fires are preventable.
they are, yeah. And guess what? Most house fires actually start in the kitchen.
Really?
Yeah. So you got to be extra careful when you're cooking.
Right.
Like, never leave anything unattended.
Exactly.
Make sure you have working smoke detectors.
Yes.
And, think about things like faulty wiring, overloaded outlets.
All of that.
Yeah. So think about this. Do you have a fire escape plan?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, we practice it regularly.
That's amazing. I need to do that.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. It's always better to be prepared.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about water.
Okay.
We all need it to survive, right?
Yes, we do. It's essential for life.
Not just for drinking.
Yeah, for so many things.
For growing our food, maintaining hygiene.
Exactly.
Did you know that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water?
Really? That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a reminder of how precious this resource is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. But also think about this. Even though it seems like there's a lot of water, access to clean drinking water.
Is a problem for some people?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a challenge in many parts of the world.
That's true.
So think about how you use water in your daily life. And what would happen if water became scarce in your community?
That's something we should all think about.
Yeah, for sure. Water conservation.
It's important.
It's everyone's responsibility.
Yes.
Even small actions can make a difference.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Did you know that even a dripping faucet can waste a ton of water over time?
I did know that, yeah. It's amazing how much it can waste.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So think about what are some ways you can conserve water? Simple stuff like fixing leaks, shorter showers.
Right.
Just small changes can make a big difference.
They really do.
All right, let's move on to eating well. Those South African food-based dietary guidelines?
Yeah.
They recommend a balanced diet with fruits, vegetables, grains, and protein.
They're a good framework for healthy choices.
Yeah, they are. Did you know that eating a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables not only makes your plate look nice,
It does.
but it gives you a wider range of vitamins and minerals?
Oh, wow. That's good to know.
Yeah. So think about it. What are some of your favorite healthy foods? Are there any unhealthy foods you could cut back on?
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's all about making those choices that benefit your health in the long run.
For sure.
Now, speaking of influences, things like family traditions, cultural norms, and even media.
They all play a role in what we eat.
Yeah, they do. Especially advertising.
Yes.
Right? They're always pushing those unhealthy foods.
They are.
Sugary drinks and all that.
Yeah, and they can be very persuasive, those ads.
They are. So think about what are some of the external factors that affect your food choices? How do you deal with those pressures?
Yeah, how do we resist all that temptation?
Yeah, exactly.
It's about taking back control of our health.
Totally. All right, let's dive into customs now,
Okay.
specifically those tied to different religions.
Right,
Religions often have their own unique practices.
right.
Whether it's prayer, diet, attire, worship, each reflects their beliefs and values.
Right.
It's a fascinating look into those different systems
Yeah,
and how people connect with their faith.
definitely.
Did you know that places of worship, like mosques, churches, temples, they hold a really special place in many religions?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they're sacred spaces
they are.
for prayer, reflection, community gatherings.
Yeah, they often have a sense of history and reference and community.
They do. So think about this. How do customs and traditions reflect a culture's beliefs? Why is it important to learn about the customs of others, especially those from different backgrounds?
Yeah, it's so important to understand and respect different customs. It fosters empathy and tolerance and helps us appreciate our diverse world.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about religious festivals. Those celebrations that bring families and communities together.
Yeah, like Diwali, Ramadan,
Yeah, exactly.
Anamatsuri,
Yeah.
Ridvan.
Each has its own special traditions and significance,
They do.
giving us a glimpse into those different religious practices.
Yeah, it's a rich tapestry.
It is. Did you know that Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, is celebrated with those amazing displays of lamps and fireworks.
I love those. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. They symbolize the victory of good over evil, light over darkness.
Right. It's a really joyous occasion.
It is.
Yeah.
So think about this. How do these festivals strengthen communities? What are some of the universal lessons they offer, regardless of our background?
I think they remind us of the importance of family, community, and spiritual connection.
Yeah, they do. All right, time to tackle something a bit more serious. Substance abuse.
Oh, okay.
So this includes misusing drugs and alcohol.
Right.
It can have terrible effects on both physical and mental health.
It can be very damaging.
Yeah, it is. Did you know that drugs and alcohol can be addictive,
Yeah.
making it incredibly difficult to quit?
Yeah, it's tough.
It is. Addiction is a complex issue. Affects individuals, families, communities.
Right.
It's important to approach it with understanding and compassion.
Definitely.
So think about this. Why do you think people turn to substance abuse in the first place? What are some healthy ways to cope with stress, without resorting to those harmful substances?
Yeah, that's such an important question. We need more open conversations about mental health, coping mechanisms, and support systems.
Absolutely. Okay, let's break down drugs a bit further. There's legal drugs and illegal drugs, right?
Right.
Legal ones are like medications prescribed by a doctor, and illegal drugs are those prohibited by law, like cocaine or heroin.
I see.
But even legal drugs can be harmful if they're misused
Right.
or taken without, proper supervision.
Definitely.
Did you know that some medications can interact dangerously with each other,
Yeah.
or even with certain foods and drinks?
I didn't know that.
It's really important to talk to a doctor or pharmacist
Yeah,
before taking any new medication or supplement,
for sure.
and be aware of those side effects.
Right.
Always report any bad reactions to
Right.
a doctor.
Definitely.
So think about this. What's the difference between legal and illegal drugs? Why is it so crucial to avoid medications that aren't prescribed for you?
Yeah, it's about making informed decisions about our health and well-being.
Exactly. Let's not forget about smoking.
Oh, right.
It's not just bad for the smoker.
Yeah, it affects everyone around them.
Yeah, secondhand smoke is dangerous.
It is.
Smoking is a leading cause of preventable death
Really?
worldwide.
Wow.
It's linked to a whole bunch of health problems,
Right.
like lung cancer, heart disease, stroke.
Yeah, it's scary.
Did you know that cigarettes contain nicotine?
Yeah,
It's super addictive.
it is.
It makes quitting really hard.
It does.
So think about this. Why do you think people start smoking in the first place? What are some ways to help people quit?
Yeah. It's about education, prevention, and support for those who want to break free.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into how drugs can affect our minds and bodies.
Right.
Substance abuse can lead to a bunch of problems, both physical and mental,
Right.
like depression, anxiety, organ damage,
Ian Deck.
even death.
Yeah.
It's serious stuff. Did you know drugs can actually alter your brain chemistry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it can lead to mood swings,
Yeah.
impaired judgment,
Right.
difficulty concentrating.
All of that.
Yeah, all of that. And it can affect your behavior, your
Mhm.
relationships, your overall well-being.
Your whole life.
Yeah, your whole life, basically. Think about this. What are some of the long-term consequences of substance abuse? How can we as a society, how can we work together to prevent it?
Yeah, and how can we support those who are struggling? It's such a complex issue.
It is.
It needs a compassionate and comprehensive approach.
For sure. Okay, let's transition to diseases and how we can prevent them.
Okay.
Knowledge is power when it comes to protecting our health. We
Absolutely.
got to understand these common diseases and how to stop them.
Right.
Okay, first up, tuberculosis, or TB.
Okay, TB. It's a serious bacterial infection.
Yeah, it mainly affects the lungs, but it can spread.
To other parts of the body?
Yeah. Did you know it spreads through the air
Oh, wow.
when someone with active TB coughs or sneezes?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But the good news is it's treatable with antibiotics.
Oh, that's good.
But you got to catch it early.
Right.
Early diagnosis and treatment are key.
To prevent spread.
Yeah, exactly. So think about this. How can we protect ourselves from TB?
Yeah.
And what should we do if we know someone who has symptoms?
Right, like a cough, fever, weight loss.
Yeah. Okay, next, diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Okay.
It's common, especially in areas with limited clean water.
Right.
So it's frequent, loose, watery bowel movements.
Yeah.
Did you know it's often caused by germs,
Yeah.
contaminated food or water,
Right?
or even some medications?
Wow.
Yeah, it can be really dangerous for young kids and older adults.
Right. Because of dehydration?
Exactly, dehydration. So
Yeah.
how do you usually prevent diarrhea? What do you do if you or someone in your family gets it?
Good hygiene is so important.
Yeah,
Washing hands, clean drinking water.
absolutely. All right, malaria.
Malaria. Okay.
It's spread by mosquitoes.
Right.
It's caused by a parasite.
Uh-huh.
And it can be fatal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's serious. But did you know it's preventable and treatable?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. We can protect ourselves from those mosquito bites.
Yeah.
Insect repellent, long clothing,
Yeah.
sleeping under nets. So think about it. How do you usually protect yourself from mosquito bites? And what would you do if you thought you had malaria?
Yeah, especially if you've been traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, measles.
Measles. That's a highly contagious one.
Yeah, it is.
Preventable.
It is. It's a viral infection. Causes fever, cough, runny nose, and that rash.
Right.
Did you know it's preventable through vaccination?
Yes. Vaccines are so important.
They are. Why do you think vaccination is so important? What should we do if we or someone we know has measles symptoms?
It's about protecting ourselves and our communities. And if you have symptoms, see a doctor right away.
Okay, now let's talk about something just as important as physical health.
Okay.
Mental and emotional well-being.
Right.
We're going to talk about HIV and AIDS.
Okay.
Specifically, the stigma surrounding it.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
It is. So HIV, or the human immunodeficiency virus, attacks the body's immune system.
Right, making it harder to fight infections.
Exactly. And AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is the most advanced stage of HIV. Did you know that HIV spreads through certain body fluids?
Like blood.
Yeah, blood, semen, vaginal fluids, breast milk.
Okay.
It's really important to understand how it's transmitted
And how it's not.
and how it's not transmitted,
Right.
so we can dispel those myths and stereotypes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
There is. So it's not spread through casual contact,
Right.
like hugging, shaking hands, or sharing utensils.
No.
So think about this. How does stigma harm people with HIV and AIDS? And how can we, as individuals and as a society, show our support and challenge those misconceptions?
Yeah, it's about creating a more compassionate and understanding world for everyone. So it's important to remember that there are treatments available that let people with HIV live long and healthy lives.
Right, they can.
Yeah, it's really amazing how far medical science has come.
Yeah, it is. But you know, even with that progress, the stigma,
Still exists.
it still exists.
Yeah,
It's time to change that.
it really is.
Education is key,
Absolutely.
right? The more we understand about HIV
How it spreads.
and how it doesn't spread,
Right.
the better we can, dismantle those myths.
Exactly.
And it's not just about facts, though.
Yeah,
It's about compassion,
right.
understanding.
Empathy.
Yeah, we got to create that supportive environment
For sure.
where people living with HIV and AIDS feel safe and respected.
Absolutely.
So how can we be better allies? How can we actually make a difference?
It's a question we should all be asking.
Yeah, we should.
It's a collective responsibility.
Okay, let's switch gears now. Let's talk about exercise.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about dance and how it requires balance and coordination?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried aerobics?
I have, yeah.
What do you think?
It's a good workout.
Yeah, it's a great way to boost your strength and flexibility.
It gets your heart rate up.
It does. Speaking of rhythmic exercise, rhythmic gymnasts,
They are so talented.
they're amazing. They combine dance, acrobatics.
And apparatus handling.
Yeah. And did you know they use ropes, hoops, balls, clubs, and ribbons
I did, yeah.
in those routines?
It's incredible.
It's mesmerizing to watch.
It is.
What other aerobic exercises do you like? And why is flexibility so important, not just for athletes, but for everyone?
I think it's about finding activities that you enjoy and that fit your lifestyle. And flexibility is important for preventing injuries and maintaining mobility.
Okay, let's talk about ballroom dancing now.
Ooh, fun.
You know those elegant waltzes, the passionate tangos, the energetic foxtrots?
Yeah,
It's timeless.
it is. It's all about partner coordination, those smooth, gliding steps.
And did you know it's still really popular today?
It is.
People of all ages enjoy it.
It's a great way to socialize, stay active,
Yeah.
express yourself through movement.
Why do you think it's still so popular? And what other partner dances can you think of that people like?
I think it's a combination of tradition, elegance, and the joy of moving together.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, let's get a bit more high energy. Rock and roll steps,
Right.
fast-paced moves, spins, twirls.
I understand.
Emerged in the 1950s. Became a cultural phenomenon.
It really did.
And those dance moves,
Iconic.
they are. Did you know that rock and roll dancing is all about letting loose, having fun, expressing your individuality?
Yeah, for sure.
Takes a lot of coordination.
It does, and stamina.
Stamina, yeah. Why is coordination so crucial in rock and roll dancing? What kind of music makes you want to get up and move?
Oh, there's so many genres I love. I think coordination is key because of the fast-paced nature of the dance moves.
All right, let's travel to South Africa. Zulu dancing.
Oh.
It's super vibrant and expressive.
Yeah, I've seen some videos.
That incorporates storytelling, traditional rituals.
Right.
It's powerful stuff. It's how they connect with their culture and heritage.
It's beautiful how dance can transcend language barriers.
It is. Communicate emotions, tell stories.
Yeah, purely through movement.
Did you know that some Zulu dances use elaborate costumes and intricate footwork?
Oh, wow.
It's a reflection of their rich cultural traditions.
That's incredible.
So how does dance in all its forms reflect the culture it comes from? What other dance styles around the world have you found captivating?
That's a great question. I think every culture has its unique dance forms that tell stories and reflect their history and values.
Let's go back to customs and traditions.
Okay.
We talked about religious practices, but let's broaden it.
Beyond religion.
Yeah. Different cultures have different ways of marking those life events.
Right, like births.
Births, coming-of-age ceremonies, marriages.
Funerals even.
Funerals, yeah. They reflect their values, beliefs, history.
Passed down through generations.
Yeah, for example, in many African traditional religions.
Ancestors are really important.
They are.
Yeah.
They have special rituals to honor them.
This shows a deep respect.
Yeah. Did you know that this demonstrates respect for those who came before? And that belief in the interconnectedness of life and death?
It's a beautiful way to acknowledge that.
Yeah, it is. Think about this. How do these customs, both religious and not religious, shape a culture's identity?
I think they provide a sense of continuity, belonging, and shared history.
Okay, let's talk about acting and role-playing.
All right, fun.
It's a great way to nurture empathy,
It is.
creativity,
Yeah.
communication skills.
Right.
You step into different characters.
You do.
Did you know that it helps us explore different perspectives and understand human behavior better?
Yeah, actors use it all the time.
They do. It's not just for actors, though.
Right?
It can be used for learning, personal growth.
Conflict resolution even.
Yeah, conflict resolution.
Right.
What benefits have you experienced from role-playing? And if you could be any character, who would you choose?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think role-playing has helped me become a better communicator and more understanding of different points of view.
Okay, let's get back to those life skills.
Right.
We talked about household safety, potential hazards.
Yeah.
But let's focus on medicine safety.
Okay.
It's important to handle them carefully.
Right. Always follow the instructions.
Yeah. Did you know that it's super important to keep medications away from children?
Oh, yeah.
They can look like candy.
It's scary.
It is. They can be very tempting for kids.
Yeah.
So you got to store them safely
Always.
and responsibly.
Responsibly, yeah.
Never be afraid to ask your doctor or pharmacist if you have questions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So what are some ways you ensure your meds are stored safely?
I make sure they're out of reach of children, and I keep them in their original containers.
Yeah, good tips. Okay, fire safety.
Okay.
We talked about cooking as a cause of house fires.
Right.
But there are other things too.
Yeah.
Faulty wiring,
Right.
overloaded outlets.
Candles.
Candles, yeah. So did you know it's crucial to have working smoke detectors
Yes.
and practice a fire escape plan?
Regularly.
Yeah. What fire prevention strategies do you have at home? What would you do if a fire started?
I think it's important to have a plan and to stay calm in an emergency.
Yeah, good advice. All right, let's step back and think big picture now.
Big picture. Okay.
We talked about physical health,
Right.
mental health, emotional health,
Yeah.
safety.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those social and emotional skills?
Yeah, those are important too.
They are. Those are the skills we need to, navigate those life challenges and build healthy relationships.
They're often called soft skills,
Yeah.
but they're just as important.
They're just as important.
Yeah.
Things like communication,
Empathy,
empathy,
Yeah.
problem solving.
conflict resolution.
Yeah, they're vital for success in life.
They really are.
Did you know that these skills help us build strong relationships, manage stress effectively, and handle difficult situations?
They do. They're essential.
They are. So how do these social and emotional skills contribute to our well-being? And how can we develop these skills throughout our lives?
I think it's an ongoing process of learning and growth.
Okay, time for a quiz.
Oh, fun. I love quizzes.
Let's recap some of what we've learned.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, first question. What's that African marriage custom where the groom's family gives gifts to the bride's family?
That's lobola.
It is lobola, correct.
Yeah.
You're on a roll. Next question. What's that very contagious but preventable disease? You know, the one that causes fever, cough, and a rash.
Measles.
Measles, you got it.
Right.
Last one. What's the name of that lung disease? Spreads through the air, but is treatable with antibiotics.
Tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis, that's right. You aced it.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. All right, so we talked about water and how much of the earth is covered by it.
Yeah, 71%.
71%, that's right. But clean drinking water.
Not so accessible everywhere.
Yeah, it's a problem in many parts of the world.
It is.
It's really important to think about water conservation.
Right. Every drop counts.
Every drop counts. How can communities and individuals work together to conserve water and make sure everyone has access to this vital resource?
That's a big question.
Yeah, it is. Wow, we've covered so much in this deep dive. Who knew a grade 5 study guide could be so packed with interesting stuff?
Right. It just shows you never stop learning.
Seriously.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that stood out to you? Like, what did you find the most surprising or memorable?
I think learning about lobola, that African marriage custom, it was really fascinating to understand the cultural meaning behind it. You know, the respect, the joining of families.
I know, right? For me, it was all the different dance forms from around the world. Like, each one tells a story, reflects a culture. It's amazing how dance can be so universal.
And we can't forget those important discussions we had about health and well-being, you know, substance abuse, diseases like TB and malaria. They highlight just how crucial education and prevention are, and access to health care.
It's true. Knowledge really is power. It helps us make better decisions about our health.
And it reminds us to support those who are facing challenges, to be more empathetic and understanding in our communities and everywhere.
Before we go, I have one last question for you and for our listeners too. We talked about all these different customs and traditions from around the world. But what about you? What customs or traditions do you personally value? You know, the ones that shape your life and who you are.
That's a great question to think about. Our traditions are those threads that connect us to our past, our communities, and to something bigger than ourselves. They give us a sense of belonging, you know, a sense of purpose. They help us navigate life.
So as we continue learning and growing, let's take a moment to appreciate those traditions that hold special meaning for us. Those threads that make up our own unique tapestry of experiences.
Well said. It's been great diving deep with you today. I hope everyone listening learned something new too.
Me too. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into festivals, customs, and life skills. And until next time, keep those minds curious, your hearts open, and never stop exploring.